Welcome back, drone fans, to a brand new episode of Jump Down Drones. In this very special episode, we go deeper into the fog, and if you didn't check out my last video where we actually flew above the fog, you can check it out in the description down below. But for now, let's jump straight into the video. So drone fans, typically when the drone is flying through the air, these sensors will detect any solid object, or in this case the fog. And what we want to do is to make sure that we cover the sensors with tape or with anything that's adhesive that can, prevent the vision sensors from detecting anything. You want to do this before you take off. And that is so that it doesn't detect the fog and it doesn't see it as a solid object and, may want to try to get away from it by going higher. So with that done, let's take off. Now you look in the upper right hand corner, you'll see that these satellites are slowly increasing in terms of the number of satellites we have connected. We have 17 connected now, and it's saying that the vision sensor is blocked. That's what we're expecting because we covered it with tape. So everything is normal so far. And straight ahead, guys, that's the fog. It's looking even denser than before. Remember the last time when we went out there, guys, it was very foggy, but probably not as foggy as this time. So we're heading out there again, and I think it was just a little bit over 2,000 meters we came into the fog. So this is the 4K version or the 4K video coming from the drone. It's not been edited or anything. To the video on board here, we're now 570 feet and growing, and I'm just recording every now and again as we're going out there. So just a little bit of story in terms of this drone. There was this one time that we flew out there and we came back on 3%. That episode was amazing, so you guys can check that out as well. And if you haven't subscribed yet, remember to do so, because I try to release videos on a weekly basis all about drones. So checking some onboard stats here, we're looking at the attitude indicator and it's near perfect, guys. Look at that pitch angle. It's just above the horizon and it's fairly balanced. So we're flying in very calm condition here, guys. We can actually go the extra mile if we wanted to, but again, the objective is just to get inside that fog and to see what it's like flying through it. So in a moment, guys, we're going to be descending down into that fog and to see what it's like going through all of that good stuff. So just giving some more stats here, we're going over 2,000 feet, so quite a bit of distance has been covered already. And if we check the speed of the drone, it says 22.2 miles per hour, and notice that it's not fluctuating, it's not going up or down, it's just one steady speed. So that's another indicator too that we're not getting much wind resistance up there, guys. It's just perfect conditions. So see, it's just going up a little bit further, but we're getting closer to the fog, guys. Look at the state of that. So we are negative 66 feet. This is what the drone thinks, and this is all because the vision sensors have been blocked, so the drone cannot give an exactly accurate reading as to the altitude that it's currently at, but it thinks it is below altitude. So the vision sensor is getting a bit confused there, but that's okay. Remember why we covered it up in the first place, so that's fine. Just rocking the gimbal down here to get a bit of a better view of this fog here, and look at the state of that, guys. Okay guys, we are now at 6,000 feet and growing, and we are on 81% power with 4 bars. And if we look at the reading of the altitude, it's saying negative 400 and something feet. And I am decreasing in altitude as we speak right now to get a little bit closer to that fog. So look at that, guys. It's just like, as I said before, flying in a jetliner and then looking out through the window. That fog is looking awesome. And we're just flying over it right now. We're very close to it. But because I took off from a very high altitude, the lower I go, you'll see that the signal for the radio keeps dipping, so that's understandable as well. Now I'm just rocking the gimbal down so we can get a nice shot, downward shot of this fog. And look at that, guys. It's just slowly creeping across the land. And within a matter of minutes, all this fog is going to disappear as the morning continues to warm up. So this is just one of those occurrences where you want to be in the right place at the right time. I don't want to spend too much time out here. We're now at 7,000 feet and growing, and we're just coming back on a steady speed. Trust me, guys, today is the day to fly. We're just rocking that gimbal up, coming back nice and slow at 22 miles per hour. And we have 26 satellites now, guys, with 4 bars on that antenna. So we're looking great. According to our time here, we have 15 minutes of flight time left. And I think that should be more than enough to come back. And look at the signal now, guys. Remember that we would have launched from way up on the hilltop there. So dropping my altitude is causing this rise and fall in terms of this signal. So the rule of thumb is you always want to be above your launch point in order to maintain a strong signal. The minute you start dipping is the minute you're going to have problem with your signal. I will have to raise my altitude a little as I'm coming back, and this is just so that the controller can make better connection. And you can just take in all this scenery right now. Look at this, guys. It's amazing. So I need to get that signal, guys, so I'm just raising my altitude just a little bit, and the drone is doing its best trying to calculate my altitude with the block vision sensor. So we're now at 67%. We got 9 minutes of flight time left, and we're coming back nice and steady, so everything should be great. We're perfectly lined up with the home point. And again, remember, guys, you always want to check the map as well as your attitude indicator when you're coming back, just to make sure that your flight path is the most efficient and that everything is okay. So in a minute I'll be popping up that map just to make sure that we are lined up with our home point, and we can already see it on the attitude indicator indicated by that H there at the top. So we don't necessarily need it, it's just that I like to see it on the map. And I'm still raising my altitude. Notice that the values for the altitude has now increased. So I'm wondering now, guys, even with blocked vision sensors, just how accurate this thing is at gauging my altitude. And I can tell you now that the altitude that this thing is coming back is fairly correct in terms of my height, but we'll see when we come back. And we can even see some fog action coming up from behind the hills there with those houses, and look at how majestic that looks. It's just slowly creeping up from out of the land there. And you'll notice that there is a bit of a darkish kind of underexposed video today, and that's because everything is on auto. I didn't bother to put it in manual mode in terms of the camera settings, so everything is in automatic mode. And on the map here it says we're lined up with that H, and everything looks great. We got 8 minutes of flight time left on 55% power. We're nearly home, because according to this we are less than 100 feet to the home point, so that's great. So we'll be getting home in no time. But before I descend, just to turn around to take one more look at that view. We went all the way out there, guys. Look at the state of this place here. Look at the state of this. So it's so dense that you can't even see the trees in some parts, or in most parts where the fog is covering. It's always a pleasure flying out there, guys, and If you enjoy flying with the Jamdong Drones family, why don't you smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, and tell your friends about Jamdong Drones and all that good stuff. So guys, that was our trip out into the fog. It's Jamdong Drones, over and out.